and welcome back to my channel. So today I have another Sims 4 speed build for you, and I apologize for this one being so long, but this actually took me 3 days over on stream. And if you're not aware, I do stream on Twitch 3 times a week. So that's usually the Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. The link is down in the description if you want to follow me over there to know when I go live and come hang out with us. But this took me a while. Like, the total footage for this was about 6 hours long, which is kind of insane to think about, like, that it just took that much time. And I think a lot of it was honestly, like, I was just kind of experimenting and trying new things when I was doing this. I honestly got on stream the first day I did this, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to build. I'm just going to do some stuff. So this is what happens when I go in without a plan and we get this like super insane, eclectic, eccentric party house. And honestly, like, I really like the way it turned out. There's some really cool elements in this house that I'm really excited to share with you. And you can see I'm working very hard on doing some like cool steps up to the front door. Unfortunately, I was trying to use foundation and platforms at the same time, and as my chat told me, foundations and platforms they don't mix. They just don't like each other. So it took me a little bit to figure out exactly how I wanted that to look. So you see me messing around with that a lot, but I am happy with the way it looks in the end. But honestly, I just wanted this to be like a kind of funky house. And it actually ends up, even though this is a pretty large house, it ends up being for only like 1 or 2 Sims. And actually for the screenshots, I actually thought of this as only 1 Sim. So through just exploring how the build came out and chatting with chat over on Twitch, we decided basically that this was like a bachelor, and I figured, you know what, he actually worked in like the movie business, and I'm thinking he like produced or wrote or directed a lot of like romance movies. And so inside in the office area that I create, you can see different posters, and also I got some like signed autographs from different actors around the world. When I was like setting up for screenshots, I had him actually go meet a bunch of famous people and like get their autographs, so you actually have those on the wall, which I thought was really cool. And I feel like I've not really seen those in debug, but honestly, there's so much in debug, it could very well be in there. I just had no idea. But anyways, I thought that was a really cool addition to the house. So they should be on the gallery when you download it. And this is already up on the Sims 4 gallery if you would like to download it under my ID, spicensprinkles. All one word, all lowercase, and down in the description if you want to check it out. That is also what I go by on Twitch. So if you're looking for me, basically I go by spicensprinkles everywhere except for on Instagram, where you have to put little dots between, like, on both sides of the end, because, well, my other username wasn't available. So I have actually also started producing some shorts and putting that on Instagram, as well as, so I guess they were reels on Instagram and shorts on YouTube, but I've been trying to get into those. So if you were unaware, you can check those out if you want to see like what those look like. So those are actually typically different from my builds. So those are like smaller rooms or really small like apartments, stuff like that, that can be done like in a minute. But honestly, they were really fun to make, and I just like to add some music to it. And if you have watched my shorts, would you rather me do voiceovers for them just out of curiosity, or is the music nice since they're kind of, you know, short? Hence the name shorts. But anyways, I am sitting here messing around a lot with the height of the walls, the windows, everything. You can see I kind of make like a walkover from the right side to the left side, and we do actually end up later on adding in like another like walkover, so that basically you can also use the 2 roofs of this house as more living space, which is like so insane. Like, there's so much room in this house. Like, it was just, it came out really cool. Like, I'm so happy with it. I feel like there's elements in this house that I've never done before, which is always something fun just to experiment and just kind of go wild with whatever you're building. And like I said, chat was so helpful with me trying to figure out, what am I going to do with all this space? What am I going to put in here? It basically turned into this really cool, almost like nightclub situation on the roof of this house. So I'm thinking this is like I said, a sim that is like living their best life. Like, this is, you know, they made a bunch of money in the movie industry and they spent it on their home, creating this really cool space to entertain and have people over. Like, that's what they like to do. And you can see I actually put down some random like like flooring, and that is actually from Snowy Escape, and it's actually kind of like the sand like for like a Zen garden. So I actually even put in like a Zen garden in the front yard, which ended up being really neat. Like I said, I've never done that before, and I think that turned out really well. And you can see here, like I'm putting in the pool, and then I'm trying to make it to where you can like see down into the pool from the roof. And that was a whole entire thing, me trying to figure out. And I don't know if you've ever really messed around while building, like it's hard to get it to do what you want it to do unless you already know how to do it. But I remembered that there was like a kind of like a window that you could put on the roof that you could see down, but for the life of me, I couldn't find it. And I do end up finding it, so I do replace that with just like pieces of glass, so it doesn't have kind of that weird roof look to it. So that actually, I figured that out on stream day 2 for this build, and I still cannot believe it took me 3 days to figure this out. Like it was insane. Like, but it was like I said, a lot of fun. And we ended up, this pool, we put it in the left side of the house, and you can actually see it down below. So it ended up looking really cool. I put like a bunch of plants in it. I also sized down a few fish tanks in there as well, which if your sim goes in and like adds fish to those fish tanks, like then you have fish swimming around in the pool. So you get the like fish, and I put like little bubble makers in there and all the plants, and your sims can still use that pool. It looks so amazing. And that's actually what you saw at the beginning of this video with the sim doing yoga out in the Zen garden in front of their like fish tank pool, which is so insane, but I feel like is exactly what like an eccentric like movie person would have, like that just because they can, they would have it, you know? And so I think it just looks so cool. And I mess around a lot with the windows, the doors, trying to make everything fit right. And we have that wonderful balcony too on the front of the house. And like I said, it ends up only having 1 bedroom and 2 bathrooms, but I mean, a ton of other stuff. Like you have a Zen garden, like yoga area, and then a fire pit, and then the dance floor and a bar. Well, actually there's 3 bars in this home. 3 bars, y'all. They're like, we went for it. Okay. I mean, this is literally the house for entertaining sims. You know what I mean? Like, the sim you have here is going to have a bunch of people over, and it's going to be amazing. And it was funny when I was like hiring bartenders to come like on the lot when I was taking screenshots. That was pretty entertaining, trying to get them to go to the right one, like where my sims were actually hanging out. And for a lot of the screenshots, actually, I have a bunch of famous sims here. So like Thorn Bailey and several other people. And like, I don't know why all of a sudden, like my brain just has like deleted all names of famous sims all of a sudden. Like Judith Ward, there's another one. Oh my gosh. But anyways, they're all here. And basically the screenshots are a little bit of him just like living in this house, and the rest of it is basically just having a bunch of people over and actually utilizing this space. And everything works. So it was actually, you know, play tested when I take screenshots, which is really nice. So everything should work. Your sim should be able to cook and all of that kind of good stuff. So you shouldn't have any issues to my knowledge. If you do, I mean, it's The Sims. Like it just does whatever it wants to. And I will say that I did have an issue since I did have to come back to this build 3 different times. It did delete out the terrain paint. So I would probably expect for it to do that to you as well, but you can easily place that back in. I just put it under all of the foliage and the bushes and things like that out front and around like those stepping stones. So if you want to recreate that, you can, but obviously that's totally optional. And as a reminder, if you download this off the gallery, I mean, just do whatever you want with it. If you just want to use it as a shell, or you just want to use only part of it, like that's totally up to you. So please like do whatever you want with the build, enjoy it and use it however you see fit, or adding more bedrooms, that kind of thing. Or using it as a community lot of some kind. Like, I feel like you could almost transfer this into some sort of like hangout spot, you know, like make it like a celebrity only hotspot kind of thing, like spa, like put a fence around it. Like, I really think that actually would be pretty cool. And I believe, oh goodness, I'm trying to remember. I think I'm building this in Windenburg. I don't know why all of a sudden I'm blanking. Yes, it is in Windenburg. I was just looking around for a lot that I liked, and so we ended up there. And you can see I'm messing around with some lights that came with Cottage Living, and they were like in debug. And I just couldn't quite get them to match up really well, but I did find some lanterns that were in debug from cottage living that were like hanging from a tree, I guess, and I got to put those up in this tree. So you do have some light out there, and it looks just like really cool. And one of the things I do try to do is make sure that lots are really well lit so that, it actually makes sense. And also in advance, if some footage looks like it's missing, that very well could be the case. After 6 hours of filming on stream, I tend to like pause my recording while I'm streaming so that I don't get a bunch of extra footage, or if I stop to talk to chat, that kind of thing, you don't have just like dead footage like sitting there, and so it's easier for me to edit. So if there are some pieces missing, I apologize, but to be honest, like, it took me 3 days and it was over 2 different weeks, and it's been several days since I like filmed the last piece of it. I don't even remember what's even all in here, which is so insane. I think just because it took so much time. But it was so fun, and it was so funny just like talking about like what else we should put in here and the sim we would have in here. And I actually end up putting in a boat. I gave this sim a boat. I'm telling you, this sim is living their best life and just having an amazing time. Like, and so I ended up just having the one car, and so you could add another one. And of course, as you know, always, the cars are not functional. That is not something that you can actually use. But we can always dream. And I feel like it's always just a nice touch to have, like that's something realistic, to real life that you would have out there. And then I just put in like a little seating area so your sim can come look out on the view. Like, this lot is actually very nice. I think this was the Rustic residence lot, I believe. So you can, use it on that lot or not. That is completely and totally up to you. You can place it wherever you want to. I just like to put it down in the description in case you want to put it on the lot that I actually built it on, in case that just was, a lot that you liked. Or, you can obviously put this anywhere. This was not a limited pack build, so my guess is I probably ended up using like all of the packs. And actually, speaking of that, if there are packs that you feel like would be good together, or ones that I should make like a limited pack build, let me know down in the comments, because I actually am curious, like if you are someone who would use these builds, like what packs you actually have installed. So if I were to do a limited pack, what would be the most beneficial pack to do for my viewers? So if you are interested in downloading a build, let me know. So I know most people do not have all of the packs like I do. Technically I think I'm missing like 2 packs, like some fashion packs, but I have like all the build ones. And also we had recently some kits come out that were just a bunch of clutter and that pastel pop kit, and honestly they were amazing. I already have a review up on the channel, so if you want to check that out to see what's in there before you go and buy it, if you are interested, and getting my honest opinion on all of the items and how you might use it, be sure to check that out. And yeah, I spent a lot of time trying to put that like lamp in this house. I don't know why, but it did not want to like clip to the roof properly, so I had to just like lift it on my own, and it was really hard to tell when I had lifted it far enough. So I apologize that it took me forever to do that, but that was a whole thing. And then I realized like I didn't know how I was going to do the floor plan up here, because I had that door in the middle, but like the stairs were there. I mean, I feel like that's what took me a long time, was really figuring out how to utilize this space properly, and like how to make it work, and how to make it make sense. And I am happy to say we were able to use the area underneath the stairs, which was so exciting. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit. And at this point, so I decided that I wanted a conversation pit. And for those of you that don't know what a conversation pit is, basically it's like a sunken in living room. And so I cut out the footage. I mean, effectively, I paused it, but it was such a struggle. It was a nightmare. I had such a hard time. I really wanted it to be a like circular conversation pit, but for the life of me, shocker, I could not get the round walls around rounded platforms to work. Like, I tried to put a wall back up and it like deleted it. I mean, it was kind of insane. And anyway, so we ended up with this like angular one, kind of rounded conversation pit, but I think it ends up looking really lovely actually. And the space underneath the stairs actually ends up being a laundry room, and it is fully functional. So I think it was actually my mom. She actually comes to chat a lot, so if you ever want to say hi to her, she's usually there. But I think that was her idea to put laundry down there. So that was amazing. Like, I was like, that is actually a really good idea. So, and it was functional. I was really like I crossing my fingers like I hope this works. But it does. Like I said, I play tested it so your Sims can use it. Of course, if you don't have laundry day, you can make that like a reading nook, a library, storage. I mean, whatever you want to do. You can change anything in this build if you would like to. And I'm not gonna lie, at this point we're getting to the end of the first day of me filming this build, and honestly at this point I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want in here. I don't know what's gonna work. Like I just don't know. And so I end up actually like calling it a day around this time, and then we come back and work on the rest of the first floor. Because I really was just so back and forth and trying to figure out exactly what I wanted. And I knew there were some rugs that I really liked. And honestly, trying to track down rugs is some of the hardest stuff I've done. Like literally, I feel like I always find myself going, oh, you know, that one rug. And then having to find it is so difficult because the rugs are, a lot of them are the same size. So it literally is just trying to figure out which one of them has the swatch that I'm thinking of. Like, unless it's the furry one, like that's really obvious, it's hard for me to find what I'm looking for, especially when a particular rug has like a bunch of different swatches. Like it's a whole entire thing. So you can see I finally swapped out that roof piece for those ceiling windows, whatever they're called. Those are from Island Living, and it's actually really funny. I knew they existed, but I like really couldn't find them. And it was so funny. Before I went live that day to stream, I actually was watching a speed build from, I forgot who it was, someone else, and they used it. And I was like, oh my gosh, where did it come from? Like I literally like paused back the video, like slowed it down, like zoomed in to figure out which pack it was in because I just couldn't find it. So anyways, I was able to find it. So it was very lucky that I was watching a speed build that included it, but it's just really funny. And I ended up going with this kind of really colorful, retro, eclectic like look to it. And I also ended up using, the sim I used was actually an elder, and I'm trying to use elders more because like I feel like I don't use them very often in my screenshots, and like I feel like they're also just an underrepresented like age group in The Sims as well. I mean, let me know down below, do you use elders or do you not really use elders? I feel like, you know, we've got like the knitting pack and some other things, so your Sims, you know, your elder Sims actually have more to do, because I feel like that was an issue. People just didn't know what to do with their elder Sims. It was kind of like they retire, but then like what do they do, right? They're like home, like what am I supposed to do? But I know we've got some like packs that actually like allow them to do some other things. So anyways, let me know out of curiosity, like if you actually use elders. And I also, over on Twitch, I recently did some gameplay, so I do that as well. So if you're interested in seeing me do that, I actually played one of the scenarios, the like alien abduction parent one. That was the first time I've ever played a scenario, so that was a lot of fun. I still don't understand like what you get. Like it literally gives you like some traits for the teen and for the kid. And if you're not aware of what that scenario is, basically the idea is you have one or two parents, a teen, and a child, and the parents are abducted by aliens, and your job is to basically, the teen has to raise the kid. Like, they both have to get their grades up to A's, like, the kid has to fulfill its aspiration, they have to get 15,000 simoleons, and, like, a couple of other things. Like, it was more involved than I thought, actually, when I saw the checklist. I was like, what? I have to do all of this? Like, I thought we just had to, like, get some money. Like, but anyways, and then the aliens, like, return your parents, and I don't know, it was just like the only things you get like from it, because usually you get traits or something from doing the scenario. Like the kid gets the speed reading trait and the teen gets the mentoring trait. You can already mentor in The Sims, so I don't really know. Like, I felt a little gypped, like I didn't get anything from it. But anyways, I just thought that was kind of funny. I was just like, wait, what? Why did we do this? Like, I thought we were gonna get some stuff from it, but whatever. That was totally a sidetrack. But that's also the kind of stuff that we do over on the channel. And if you do miss streams or you can't come, I do have it save the VODs, so you can go check those out. It only saves them for, I believe, a week. And so, but anyways, if you miss it, you can of course go and just check it out later, even though you're not like there for chat time, but you can see like what I've been up to and see some of the more nuanced details that go behind my builds. Like I said, I end up pausing a lot and like starting it again once I figure out what I want to do. Because I like, even when I'm building on my own, even if it's not on Twitch, I literally have to like pause my recording, think about what I want to do, and then start it again so that I don't, fill up my footage with just a bunch of nonsense. And you don't have to watch me like struggle like a ton. I do leave in some of my struggle because I feel like, at least when I was starting to build and I would watch speed builds, I would be like, oh my gosh, like these people are so amazing. And which, don't get me wrong, they are, but like they just know exactly what they want to do. And I leave that in because like I don't think that's actually the case, but like through editing, right, it looks like they know exactly what they're doing, and some of them might like totally might always know what they're doing. But for me, I don't know. A lot of times I have to pause. There's very few instances where I just like don't pause the recording at all, and I just like know exactly what I want, where I want to put everything, and like easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like it usually doesn't really happen all that much. And please excuse my rhyming, but it is like 9:30 at night when I'm recording this. So basically I'm just like talking, and this is a longer voiceover, which again I apologize for. And if you're still here and you're enjoying it, be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I would super really appreciate it. And leave me a comment again if there's stuff that you want to see, or builds that you would like, or packs that you feel like I should do a pack build for, that kind of thing. Let me know. Or other challenges, because I do also do build challenges on the channel. You can check those out in the Sims gameplay playlist, which is also linked down below. I try to link everything that you might need down below and give you the information if you want to check that out. And also, when I'm streaming, I don't use my reshade, but sometimes I do use it for my screenshots. So just FYI, if you're ever watching something and the screenshots look a little bit different in terms of color, it's because I am using a reshade, and it's quite lovely. But for whatever reason, basically my computer uses all resources for that reshade, and it won't let me use my face cam when I'm streaming if I'm using the reshade. And at this point I just feel like I'm rambling on about stream. But anyways, I love love the dining room, and this like conversation pit. Oh, it turned out so good. Like literally I'm in love with this so much, and I was so happy. I know I missed it because I talked all the way through it, but I got to use those really cool clear dining chairs. I feel like I always want to use them, but I don't have instances where it would make sense. So I got to use those, and for this conversation pit, like I don't even know where those chairs are from. I was just like, I have to use these. These are amazing, and it just looks so good in here. And that couch is actually from the bowling pack, and I've realized that I need to do a build with the bowling pack. Maybe not even a bowling alley, just like this stuff, because I just really like it. I think it looks really cool. And I don't do many community lots, again, so let me know if there's a community lot you'd like to see. I do have like a neighborhood pool up on the gallery, and as a speed build, if you want to check that out. I think that came out really nicely, but I actually don't know if I've done another community lot before. I think that may be the only one. I think everything else is like residential, even if it's like a cave or a treehouse or something, like a non-standard residential thing. I just don't do many community lots. And I mean, let me know too if that's something that you use a lot, like that's what you're looking for on the gallery, is residential lots for things for your Sims to do. And at this point, again, you can see me like I've got items kind of everywhere, but for this build, as I found items that I was like, oh, I know I'm gonna want to use this, I took it out and put it somewhere so I wouldn't forget. I feel like at this point I have so many items that if I don't pull it like out, then I'll never find it. Like it will just never happen. I'll be like, oh, where was that? I don't know, somewhere. And then just adding some clutter here. And at this point, when I did this build, we did not have the clutter pack, so otherwise I feel like I definitely would have been using a lot of those items, but we did not have it at this point. And so adding in that remote is actually from Debug, so you can find that and put that in there. I feel like it looks nice and like realistic, having that on the end table. And again, Debug is actually a place where you can get stuff that basically exists in the game, but that you just don't have access to. Like, Sims like pull pots and pans out of their pockets and cook and things like that, like, or the remote, they just pull it out of their pocket and they can like control the TV because they just carry all that stuff around all the time, like stuff like that. Or assets that are in the worlds that you don't necessarily have, like cottage living is known to have like a lot of really cool foliage, like that kind of thing, just because that came in that world, but it's not something that came like with the pack as a standard item. And this is where we're putting in this really adorable, like pretty spacious laundry area actually, and I use these like room dividers here so that it kind of separates it and you're not just like staring at like the washing machine in this space, but it's kind of covered, but your Sims still can get to everything. And I was so happy about that. I was hoping they would, since this is like, I think these are medium wall height, so they should be able to get under there, but it's The Sims, and it may decide, no, actually, I can't walk under the stairs even though it's like above my head. Like, I just can't do it. So anyways, they are able to use this space, and you can utilize the space however you want to, but I just thought this was a really lovely idea to put this in here. So again, adding in just a bunch of clutter all of the time, always. I just feel like it looks so lived in this way that like it just, I don't know, I really do like it. And I do end up, swapping out the rug there for something a little bit brighter along the lines of the rugs that we have in the rest of the space. And also, you may have noticed that in the kitchen, those rugs don't like meet up perfectly. I did my very, very best for them to meet up. We like, actually in chat, we were like, what if you turn it around? What if you like do this, that, or the other? And anyways, it is what it is. So I did the best I could, but also sizing that rug up just did not look quite right. And actually, when I found that giant like clothing picture thing, I don't know what you would call that, that's when I figured, you know what, I think this person is like a movie producer, and this is like stuff from like one of the movies they were on. And then I found that swatch and I really loved it. It just kind of looked really old school and like just looked really cool with the space. And then I was like, you know what, I think they directed romances. Like, I think that's what they did. Like, they just did a lot of romance movies, and so they have this really cool retro poster in here. And then I end up putting, I think, an award on that table, that kind of thing. And it's kind of part of the entranceway here, and around that corner is a half bath and is going to be the office space as well. I think I do end up using one of the giant computers that came with the high school pack, like one of the streamer computers or whatever. And then I ended up putting like a little bookcase on the wall, and then I also put next to the bookcases where I ended up putting all the autographed photos that I got while I was taking screenshots. And because, like I said, I try to set this up to actually be realistic. Like, I feel like if he was a director, producer, whatever, and he's an elder, he's been in the business for a while, he knows a lot of celebrities and a lot of big ones, you know what I mean? Like, he himself is a celebrity. And for the screenshots, I did turn off their celebrity glow, sparkle, whatever it's called, because it was just kind of obnoxious. So that's why they're not glowing. But, and just FYI, you can turn that off if you click on your sim. So if that is something that bothers you, you can change it. And so, again, just putting up another like romantic movie poster on the wall, and then I end up just putting a bunch of clutter over on the desk, and I figured that's maybe an idea board, that kind of thing, and just a bunch of paperwork and scripts and all that kind of good stuff. And just like, I don't know, I mean, maybe the sim is retired, I'm not sure, maybe they're just like, you know, a contractor at this point helping out with, you know, productions or something. I mean, I have no idea. Of course, that's not how you have to play this home. You can play this home however you want to, you know, change it up, do whatever you want. But that's just like what I had in mind, and I feel like helps a lot when I'm building, is thinking about the kind of sim that might live here, like what kind of things they would have in their home, all of that kind of good stuff. And just thinking about those kinds of scenarios. And if you have suggestions about scenarios, things that you want to see, or maybe that I haven't done yet, you know, please let me know. Different family compositions, just different situations, that kind of thing. I would love some ideas. I have like an idea notebook that I keep a bunch of stuff in. My mom actually likes to give me a lot of ideas, and so I write a bunch of stuff down. Like recently on stream, somebody's like, we need to do a crime scene, which I think would be really funny to do. I just need to figure out how to do it. We actually got off on a tangent talking about like crime shows and crime podcasts and all kinds of stuff, and it was a lot of good fun. Like, maybe that's also why it took me longer to do this build, because I got distracted talking about like TV. But anyways, and also recently like talking about maybe building a high school, something like that. So anyways, if there's just stuff that you want to see, let me know. Or something that just might be a challenge for me to do, you know, let me know about that as well. And so I end up actually like having basically like this like big landing space at the top of the stairs, like, and then almost like a lobby to the like bedroom, the one and only bedroom in this house. This bedroom is huge. I mean, like I said, I think you could rework this top floor to have more than one bedroom if that is what you would like to have. But like I said, I just wanted this to be a really like extravagant, like single sim home, possibly two sims if they have like a significant other or something that's living there with them, you know, they could be here. And then that is going to be an ensuite over there. And I ended up using this rug that I wanted to use downstairs, but I used it up here. So we went with these really bold colors. It took me a little while to figure out exactly what I wanted to do. Like, did I want to use blue walls? Did I want to use orange walls? Did I want to like where did I want to incorporate that navy blue and that orange, right? Like, how do we tie this space together? And like I said, that did take me a while. I did a lot of experimentation, like with different patterns and stuff, because I was like, you know what? It would make sense to me if they also had pattern on the wall. And, it just, we ended up going with, I think, this white and gold, I think is what we ended up with. And then using the navy blue end tables to bring that pop of color in. And I think I ended up using maybe some orange chairs or something like that, but I figured they would have a nice TV in here, like they would hang out and like watch movies, that's like what they do and what they enjoy. And so I put a little seating area in here as well. And so somewhere that your Sims can hang out. And then I end up using like a little poof cushion thing in there. And it's funny, so I use it as a table because I put a piece of art on it, like a big piece of art. But it's actually a chair. So when I was taking screenshots and I told the Sim to go watch TV, it literally, he went over and sat on that piece of art because I put it on top of a chair. So just be warned. Like, I just like the way it looked, and I feel like it should be also a table. But your Sim may sit on it instead of sitting in one of the perfectly good chairs right there. But I do put in, I do put in some of the wood paneling because I just felt like it was like a lot of pattern going on. And then using that overhead light from the Desert Luxe kit, which I love a lot of the items in that pack. It has got some really good stuff in it as well. And that is a kit, especially if you're new to The Sims, like, depending on what you like to do in The Sims, you may or may not like kits. I like a lot of the kits just because they're build oriented, and that's what I do a lot of. But there are several ones for cast. There's only one for gameplay, which is the Bust the Dust. So you have to like vacuum and stuff like that, which I feel like it's, mixed reviews on that. Like, I think it's kind of neat just because, like, if you are a person who does a lot of, like, realistic gameplay, like, you want to do laundry and, cooking and cleaning, like, you really want this to be, close to real life, like, that makes a whole lot of sense to have something like that. But if that's not really your thing, then you don't need that pack. But I decided that this Sim should have this gorgeous like jacuzzi tub by this giant window, but I also wanted a shower in here. It definitely took me a minute to actually arrange this bathroom to where you could actually get to everything and it all made sense, and like that it all fit together really nicely. And I am very happy with the way it turned out. I think I ended up making like my own shower, I believe, in this build. And I do this a lot when I just don't feel like the showers we have match very well. And I think probably because of the corner it was in, I just didn't like the way it was facing. And for some reason, I kept having this issue where like I would paint the walls on the inside of the house, but it would paint the outside of the house. Like, I don't know why that's a thing, but I feel like it's been happening a lot to me lately. And I don't feel like I'm doing anything different or anything weird, but I don't know. Like, let me know if you know why it would do that, because I literally have no idea. But I kept having to fix that. I'm like, oh, no, wait, no, that's not right. Like, let me fix the outside of the house, like, over and over again, like, just constantly while I was building. And then I end up having this, like, corner counter there with this sink, and I think this looks really nice. And we used like that navy sink, which I didn't even know existed, like that color, but it looked really cool. And you can see I am struggling to put that thing right there, so I swap it out for a smaller one, and then still I think size that down a little bit just to make it fit, because I was like, oh my gosh, like this needs to work. I need to have this there. And I also figured that art is maybe from one of the romance movies, you know what I mean, like a portrait. Or I don't know, maybe it is their daughter or their wife, or, whatever, obviously, or just a random piece of art they liked, or maybe, you know what, they painted it. I end up putting an easel out on the balcony. This Sim can, like, basically do anything they want. Like, you have a chess table, you have some gardening up on the roof, you have the telescope, you have, like, dancing, you have the easel. Like, there's a lot you can do in this house. Like, I don't feel like your Sim would be bored. There'd be plenty to do. Your Sim could do whatever they wanted here. So obviously, like, you can tailor this house however you need to for your personal gameplay. But like I said, I ended up just making this like a seating area. And then, just in case you're wondering, that like coffee table is too close to that couch, I do move it, so what's uploaded on the gallery should work, since I did have somebody sit on that couch. I was wondering if it was gonna be too close, and it was. So anyways, I did fix that, so you don't need to worry about that or having any kind of issue with that. And then I end up kind of combining this vase with another plant, which I really do like to do, and I think is a helpful hint, if you're trying to reimagine the items you have, especially if you have only base game, that is something you can do, combining items and, making them work for you. Like, I think that's, something that definitely would elevate your builds if, you know, you're kind of getting tired of just base game. And I do have a couple base game builds up on the gallery and up on my channel for speed builds. If that, you know, if you want a base game build or some inspiration for a base game build or ways you could utilize the items, those are up. So you can download those and check those out if you would like to. And then I just put out a nice little seating area up there. And then that's where the chess table goes and the easel. So lots to do. Like I said, lots of skill building. Like your sim really shouldn't have any issues doing whatever they need to do for their career. Like I said, there's a computer here. And this is kind of a pricey home. It is 174,000 simoleons, so it's a little pricey. I don't think it's the most expensive build I've made, but it is kind of up there. Like it is not like super cheap. But I feel like, you know, if your sim was like a movie star or like did a lot of movie stuff, that they would probably have money, and that probably wouldn't be a huge issue. You can use free real estate as well, or just use like a money cheat like Motherlode or something to get the money you need. And so you can see here that we are adding in like a bunch of stuff around the pool. And honestly, it took a minute for this space to take shape, but we actually end up making it kind of a spa area. And I do expand it out a little bit because I needed more room on one side to put in like loungers, because I really wanted the lounger. And I put one of those like jumping stone things, whatever they're called, by the pool, and it is functional. Your sims can use it and jump in even though they are indoors. And like I said, your sims can swim in the pool even though there is, you know, plants and fish and everything in there. And I did add fish, so I assume that when you download it off the gallery, the fish should be in there. But if they are not, you can actually just move the like greenery that's inside the pool, and then you just find those fish tanks and then just have your sim add fish to them, and then you should be good to go. And so you can see me like moving around that piece of furniture everywhere because I'm like, oh man, you know, I really want to use it and I don't know where to put it. I end up not using it. I don't think I actually use it anywhere in this build, but I pulled it out way at the beginning thinking I would try to use it somewhere, but I did not. I just couldn't like use it anywhere. And so at this point is when I figured out like I just need to expand it. Like I need a little bit more room, and we do put a bar out here, loungers. We put a massage table, like and a massage chair. Like I mean, this sim is like they have it made. You know what I'm saying? Like they like anything they want. They don't have to leave the house. Like we discussed maybe adding some gym stuff, but we figured, you know what? They leave to go to the gym. Like that's the only reason they have to leave the house. Like, or maybe if they had to go to work or an award ceremony or something, that is the only reason, because everything else is here. And so we use actually a lot of the stuff from the Desert Luxe kit, and because I really liked that color and I feel like it looked really nice in this space. So it's like this kind of really deserty room, and I figure that kind of makes sense with a pool. Like, and it would be kind of, I feel like, humid in there. So, you know, it kind of makes sense like it's a spa, like humid, whatever thing. We thought we were going to use a sauna upstairs on the roof, but we ended up not using it. But that is something we had talked about a lot while we were building. And so we end up actually taking out all the seating over there, and that's where the massage table, massage chair goes. And then I put in like the mini fridge thing from Spa Day as well. So this is a lot of Spa Day and Desert Luxe down here in this room. But I think it turns out really nicely and like really tranquil. And we add in several plants, and it just like, I don't know, it feels to me like really relaxing, like somewhere you'd really come and hang out. Like, and so this is actually, I've got a lot of screenshots of the sim with all of the famous people like in this area hanging out, like Judith Ward, I have her bartending. Like, it's just really funny. Like, I really love taking these screenshots, like, and actually seeing these sims come to life and actually creating these storylines for them. And I actually end up putting like a neon, like LED, not LED, neon sign up on this wall because I thought that would look really cool. Like they had one made, and I think that's actually from the high school pack. I think that's part of the like boba tea like thrift shop like stuff that we got. I think that's actually what that's from. So we're just kind of cluttering up this space, and like I said, and I think this is, at this point is when I figure out that I want to do all the spa stuff. And I can't even remember like if that was chat or me that decided that this would be something we should do. It was so funny because I was like, I don't ever use this stuff. I don't even know which way to turn this table so it can be used. It can be used this way. So you're all good to go. You can get to the bar. You can get around the bar. You can get to everything in here. I feel like some of those spaces looked a little bit cramped but you're good. Everything's like you can use everything and like nothing's in the way, like that kind of thing. It all looks good here. And then just like I said, adding some finishing touches in this space. And then the water spritzer, what am I trying to say? The little fountain things that are in the pool actually look really cool too. You can see those in the screenshots. And then we end up using a ladder to get up here to the roof. And at this point we were like, what more does this sim need? Like really, what do they need? And we talked about putting a garden space up here. And we also put a woodworking table was downstairs. We have the flower making table here. We have a telescope up here. Like literally like everything your sim could possibly need is here. And somebody in chat was like, oh, you know what, use a birdhouse. And y'all, when I say that I went on a hunt for a birdhouse, I really did. Like I looked forever and could not find the birdhouse. I'm like, I know there are multiple birdhouses, by the way, because eventually I came like across them. So I do put some birdhouses over there, but I was just like, oh my gosh. And we wanted to actually put in like a DJ booth and like a bar and all this stuff. And then, we realized like, if it rains, like it will get wet and everything. And so we make this pergola area. And I do actually end up coming back and putting like a roof back on it. So it really should protect all of that equipment from the rain. So I'm hoping that like if you use it, it won't break everything every time it rains. So I end up putting the roof back on there and having to add more like flowers up there to cover it up. So you can't see the roof. You can see it, from down below, but I mean, I think it looks pretty good seeing as it actually saves all your stuff from, being ruined by the rain. So we end up putting like a grill out here as well as a bar. And we had talked about putting like a sink up here, which I would love to like aesthetically do, but I did not because your Sims just do whatever they want and they're not very smart. So I feel like a sim would go downstairs, use the bathroom, and then walk all the way up here to wash their hands. And so to save you from that, I did not put a sink up here so that you don't actually have to deal with that situation. And so I end up like moving a bunch of stuff around, but we end up having a nice DJ booth, a dance floor. We end up having like a fire pit with like, I basically use, it kind of looks like club seating to me, but I think it's from Dine Out. Putting that around, so there's a lot of places to sit. I mean, this really turned out to be basically a nightclub. And instead of the sauna, we actually put a hot tub in. And like I said, we were very back and forth. We were like, what do we do? Do we keep the sauna? We end up getting rid of it. It broke my heart, but we got rid of it. I mean, they have enough stuff. It's fine. If they go to the gym, I'm sure there's a gym that would have a sauna and it would be totally fine. And then we end up adding a bunch of greenery to the sides as well, so it's all draping down. Like it ends up looking really cool up here. We put lanterns up. Like it really looks really cool. We actually found some like twisting flowers that go around like posts, like the columns, and those are from Island Living. And so I end up actually putting those around all of the posts, so that looks really cool too. I mean, the space ends up looking really neat. Like it really is like club-like. You probably could just make this a club. Like just turn this whole building into a club and that would probably work out really well. And I think the lighting is really nice up here as well, so you're able to see and all that kind of good stuff. And really it was a struggle to get all of these flowers on these columns and to get them to wrap around appropriately so they all match up nicely and that they look good. I mean, it really was a whole thing, but we get there in the end. It's all good. And then we do end up putting also, once I put the hot tub in, putting some clutter. And I did use those really cool chess pieces because it just kind of looks like a chessboard here on this dance floor. And it just looks so cool up here, to be honest. Like if I went to a place like this, it would actually be really exciting. I feel like it would just be really neat. And then just adding in a few plants and things like that just to liven up the space a little bit. And then here at this point we have just putting in some clutter there, like some towels and things like that over by the hot tub. But we are getting near the end of this speed build, so be sure to stick around for screenshots and give this a thumbs up and subscribe if you enjoyed it and want to see more like it. And leave me a comment down below of stuff that you want to see on the channel. And I hope you have a really sweet day. Bye everybody.
About to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see the world in action, what we can be, life with no distractions. We'll get away, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. coming back. Eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde. A classic cliche, we're on the run. This is what we waited for.